Hi, I'm Heather Hubbard. I went from being a lawyer and partner at one of the largest firms in America to becoming an online personality and successful entrepreneur. I know what it takes to rise to the top. I also know all too well the toll it can take on your health and personal life. So, how do you shine bright without burning out? How do you chase joy while achieving success? You're listening to the Hustle and Flow podcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Hustle and Flow. I am your host, Heather Hubbard, and I am coming back and recording this part at the beginning after I've already. Well, just wait. You're going to see a Christmas tree, all kinds of things. So now this episode's going to be even longer, but I'm going to give you a little bit of context because I don't have time to go back and re-record the whole thing. So I noticed that I was starting to have this weird sound, and this is a really nice microphone. And so I upgraded my mixer. I got a new mixer, and the headphones don't fit in that anymore. So I'm having to record and listen back. And I keep thinking it's working, and then it doesn't work well, which I find out in the editing process. So throughout this episode and the next two episodes in December, anytime I have a certain laugh, it's going to sound like a chipmunk. Yeah, so I don't know what to say about that other than bear with me. I'll research and figure out what is making the chipmunk sound. If you know, feel free to let me know. This is totally, I guarantee you, user error with the new mixer, but it is what it is. And I'll also give you the heads up. I have pre-recorded all of the episodes for December because I'm having nose surgery the day I'm recording this right now, tomorrow. I'm having nose surgery tomorrow, and I might be out for a while. My face might look weird, my sound. Anyway, it's related to sleep apnea, breathing, all the things. I wish it was like some wonderful plastic surgery, but it's not. Although I think there's going to be some nose remodeling because of some of the things they're doing. Anyway, I'm nervous. I'm scared. But that is the preface for this episode and the next two episodes that you're going to hear. When you hear the chipmunk laugh, just laugh with it. Just laugh with it. Okay, let's get to today's episode. And I'm going to let it run in where it was, but you're going to miss the part where I think I was saying I was, but you'll catch on. You'll catch on. Okay, here's today's show. I was sucked up just preparing for this episode that I had to go change my shirt. I had to put on a short sleeve shirt because I was sweating. I was getting so hot. I'm not nervous. I'm fiery. Oh, also, I'm wearing red lipstick. So I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? I feel so awkward in the red lipstick. I was actually at the salon yesterday. Shout out to B Rose, the best salon in Nashville. And I was talking to the owners, Kyle and Andrew, and we were talking about all kinds of things, but we were talking about lipstick. And I was like, I can't wear red lipstick, which I'm not a big lipstick person anyway. And they were like, you totally can. And if you're speaking and on podcasts, that will really make people watch what you're saying. So that's my question. Are you paying attention more with my red lips? And if you are listening on a podcast app to audio only, and you're like, Heather, your red lips are not doing shit for me. I can't see your red lips or your short sleeve shirt. I get it. I get it. But if you're on YouTube, you know what's up. You can see. Speaking of YouTube, are you a subscriber yet? If not, make sure you are subscribing. Even if you're listening on the podcast audio apps and you don't want to watch the video on YouTube, still come subscribe. Here's why. Two reasons why you should be subscribing to this channel. The first is each and every week, as a thank you, we are picking one subscriber to give a free Hustle and Flow t-shirt to. Yeah. So, one, you need to be subscribing, but two, in the posts, the comments, I think that's what it's called. I can't remember. There's like a tab on the channel, and I think it's called posts. And so we have on there a link for you to fill out um, your name and email so that um, if you win, we can reach out to you. Otherwise, there's not a chat function within YouTube, so we can't actually reach out to you to one, let you know that you got the free t shirt, but two, we need to get your mailing address and your t shirt size. So that's one reason why you should be a subscriber to YouTube. The second reason why you should be a subscriber to YouTube is because we are doing community bonuses, community giveaways. So once we reach 500 subscribers, I will share my entire 7-minute debut stand up comedy showcase. And we continue to have other community bonuses and prizes along the way based on subscribers, but we're not at 500 first. So that's where we've got to be. And if you're like, Heather, I don't do YouTube, I don't have an account, I'm not doing a username, I'm too old for that. Well, listen up, honey, because this episode might be about you. Okay, so today's episode is about the case for age discrimination. I know, hot take. Um, as I was thinking about this, I was like, I've got some friends, and there are so many people that I love and I think are amazing who are in their 70s, 80s, and I was like, I would hate for them to listen and think that I'm ageist. And it started to remind me of when I first left the law firm and started my own company, other law firms would hire me to work with their difficult partners who were always men and were always doing inappropriate things. And so, as opposed to kicking them out, they just tried to rehabilitate them. And I was supposed to rehabilitate them. I don't know. I don't know why I was doing this, but I was. I didn't do that for very long because I was like, this is not for me. But the number of times that these men would start a sentence with, I'm not sexist, but I'm not racist, but you always knew that the next thing coming out of their mouths was something totally sexist or racist because they are sexist and racist. And I got a little bit tickled because I'm like, I'm not ageist, but. So I get it. That probably means I am ageist. And I think this is a really important conversation we need to have because part of this is tongue in cheek. And part of this, I am dead serious. So let's just let's just get into this. Now I am a little bit nervous. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, but we need to be talking about it. So we're going to. I actually came up with this idea when I was working on stand-up comedy material, and I was struggling to do it because with stand-up comedy, things have to be really tight and really concise. So it kind of starts big and you just keep cutting back, keep cutting back, keep cutting back until like it's just this really nice tight package. And I am not concise. So that is really hard for me to do, which it's like great practice for me because I should be more concise. But I thought, I'm just going to do a podcast episode on this where like I just share all my feelings because like I can totally rant and rave for 30 minutes and get it all out. Maybe I'll still do a stand-up comedy bit at some point, but that's going to require a lot more work to actually get it really tight with the punchlines and it be just super funny. Okay. So let's just start with the context of what this episode is about and why I think that there should be instances where we absolutely discriminate based on age. Okay. So I spent a lot of time this year with some of we'll call them elders in my family and my husband's family. So I think that was probably the first time I spent that much time with people in their mostly in their 80s, late 70s and 80s. And y'all, if you're watching on YouTube, you're seeing my face. Okay. Um it's a lot. It's a lot. And you're getting ready to have your holiday dinners and plans. You already did this probably with Thanksgiving. And so you know what I'm talking about if you have some people in your family who might be in their late 70s. Some are young 70s. Part of it is just personality, right? Because, like, some older people can act young, some younger people can act old. So, right, like, there's always exceptions to the rule. But I just noticed that as these people have aged, I don't know if they've changed or I've changed, but it's really interesting to watch and to be around them. So, just just some of my observations. You can think of your own. First and foremost, the amount of pill management that is going on is out of control. They have all of these, like, they're like Sunday through Saturday, all the pill boxes, and like there's more than one pill box. Like, I don't even understand why we've got the multiple pill boxes. And you know, when they're still together and they're still married, they've each got their own sets of pill boxes. And it's not like they just take the pills. Like, it's like there's 4 or 5 different hours in the day when they're taking the pills. And it's like, have you taken this pill? And there's so many conversations about it. Have you taken this pill? Have you taken that pill? No, I've not yet. Well, why not? And it's like just so, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. And at one point, and you try not to laugh, right? Like you just try to keep it together. And then at some point, some other person in the room will say something, and then you just try not to die laughing. My husband at one point said to his parents, "Are these pills keeping you alive?" Like, I'm highly concerned that in any given moment, you guys are going to die off if you can't get your pills correct because it has been like a whole thing the whole time you've been here. Um, uh, so anyway, there's that. Maybe you've witnessed that. The other thing is there's a lot of conversations about food. They they want to know when's the next meal. They want to know when's the next snack. And they like to know this in advance and they like to have a time. Um, and they want to know what it is. It's really interesting. It's really really interesting. Because I mean, most of us I don't think have the luxury of living our lives that way, where things are a little bit more frantic. But they've got time on their hands, and so they very much want their routine. Very much concerned about food and pills and naps. Very concerned about naps and and the other thing is bowel movements. Yeah. Yeah. They talk a lot about bowel movements. I don't know if you've ever had a dog, but if you have a dog that you actually go out and walk, it's kind of an interesting phenomenon. You know, maybe it's the same with babies. I never had kids, but you'll be like, oh, like, because it's like you want to make sure that like they've pooped for the day, or it's the most random conversations, right? But like, and why, I don't know. But this is what old people do. They have conversations about their bowel movements. Are they constipated? Did they have a good bowel movement? Like, it's a whole thing. And it's just like, and then, and I don't want to name names. Um, so then in my family, there are there are prostate issues. There are also incontinence issues. Um, Depends. It's a thing, and I'm not making fun in any way because we're all gonna get there one day. We're all gonna get there, right? Like we cannot avoid this. It's just a fact of life that as you age, um, these things happen. They're just normal bodily functions, but they just talk about them so freely with everyone that it's a bit jarring. It is a bit jarring. And in fact, one day this year, again, I'm not going to name names or call anyone out, um, but someone announced to me early in the morning when I just started drinking my coffee, well, I ruined my panties. I ruined my panties. Ah, and I'm just like, this is too early in the morning to have whatever this conversation is. And oh, he had been up all night with the diarrhea. I don't know about you guys. This is in my family, it's the diarrhea. And one time they didn't make it. They didn't make it and they ruined their panties. Uh, I mean, we've all been there. We've all ruined our panties, right? Like, I mean, it's happened even when, we're younger, right? Like, sometimes you just don't make it to the bathroom, especially, yeah, when you've got the diarrhea like that. It can happen if you are a runner, it can happen. And sometimes, you think it's going to be a fart and it's a shart and it's like, oh, and if you've never experienced this, okay, well, you think you're better than the rest of us? I don't know. Come on. It happens. So I'm not making fun. I'm just pointing out some of the things that I witnessed this year. In addition to the bowel movements, they cannot hear very well, nor do they listen. And those are two different things, two totally different things. Um, they don't understand technology at all. In my family, all of the 70s and 80-year-olds, they still have flip phones. They have no idea what the internet is or how it works or how to use it. Now, like I said, I know there are people out there that are of that age that totally do. I'm just saying maybe my extended family is not an exception. I don't know. Maybe it is. Y'all tell me that. If I'm just flat out wrong, call me on it. But if this is your experience too, you know, they also they don't want anything spicy and they only want, I'm trying to think of all the different experiences. Like they're just like, I just want a home cooked meal. But what they mean by a home cooked meal is a white American Southern meal. Mexican is about as like far out there as they're going to get. So they're just a little out of touch. And by a little, I mean a lot. And it's like, bless them, bless them. I love them dearly. I love them dearly. But it's a whole thing. And it's comical because I don't have to spend time with them all the time. If you have to spend time with them all the time, it's not even really funny. My mom cared for my grandmother who had dementia and recently died of Alzheimer's. And taking care of, aging parents, like that's a whole other thing. That's a different episode. We probably should do one on that. But it's not really funny when you're actually having to deal with all of this each and every day. They also are the most likely to say, at least in my family, highly inappropriate things. Right? Like highly inappropriate things. Um at the dinner table, wherever else, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's what goes on in your family or not. And so, just think of the people in your life that you're around of that age of that age group and just your experiences with them, how they act, what they say, how well they get around, how well they drive. That's always a whole thing when you have to like take keys away because it is always traumatic for the person whose keys are being taken away. The family never agrees. It's going to suck. I don't like because you're like losing your freedom. I think a lot of us are afraid of aging, right? So I'm not saying these are light or easy topics, but we don't talk about them enough, right? So I'm looking at my notes here. I want you to think of these people in your life. And I want you to imagine them um, driving a school bus each and every day with little kids. Would you trust them to do that? Would you trust them to fly a plane? Would you trust them to teach your children? Would you, right? Like, what do you think about them teaching kindergartners all day long? What do you think about them being on the police force, being on the beat, being a firefighter? What do you think about them doing surgery? Would you let them do surgery on you? Um, I've got on here, what do you think about them being your lawyer? Look, if you've ever seen some older people practice law, you know what I'm talking about. If you've not, maybe you don't, but I'm thinking of this one instance where, like, this guy, at the time, I don't even know how old he was. He had his flip phone out. He was accusing me of something. He was like, I don't even know how these kids use these phones these days, but she probably took a photo of something. I'm like, dear Lord. Um, what if they were in charge of planning all of your holidays? So they're planning the meal, they're planning the time, like they're planning everything. They're in charge and they're going to execute the whole thing. Think about them setting the budget for themselves and the entire extended family, right? So they're in charge of how much money you get to spend on things. Um, Imagine them being the CEO of your work. Like, just imagine these things. Okay, now I want to share with you some information, some statistics about the people running our government. And this is where I get hot and spicy. I started working on this. I did this research um, back when I was working on this bit, which was a little bit. And I know it's not right um, because I have on here. So, one, Diane Feinstein, she was alive and she was 89. And we now know she's dead and she was 90. So, these numbers are probably generous. Okay. So, and this is we're gonna let's yeah. Oh my lord, I already am getting fired up, guys. Okay, Nancy Pelosi, 82 years old. 82 years old. Think of anyone in your life who is in their 80s, and then think, well, how would I feel about them basically leading like the Democratic Party in Congress? She also has been in office since 1987. I don't know how old you were then. We're all going to be different ages on this. I think I was in the first grade. So she has been in office since I was in the first grade, and she is now 82. It might be older than that. Like I said, this is from when I did this research. All right, that she's a Democrat. Mitch fucking McConnell, Republican. I've got that he's 81. So basically, McConnell and Pelosi are the exact same age. He's been in office since 85. Like I was just starting kindergarten. What the fuck are we doing, people? What are we doing? Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi are in their 80s, and they have been in these positions since the 80s. In what other world, in what other profession would you still not only be working in this capacity, but still leading, right? Like you are the CEO. What are we talking about? Okay, I'm just getting started. I had Feinstein. She's now dead. She wouldn't retire. Like everybody was questioned. Like she wasn't showing up for the job, but she would not retire. Okay, so she's a Democrat. And I don't even know if I'm saying this name right. Um, Charles Grandy. Also, when my writing can be really pretty, but it can also be chicken scratch, and this is a little chicken scratch. He's a Republican, both 89. Stop it. Stop it. Why? Why do we have 89-year-olds in Congress? Bernie Sanders is 81. Maxine Waters is 84. I love some of these people, others I hate. But just because you have made your mark, just because you did some amazing things, does not mean that you should still be in office when you are in your 80s. That makes no sense. No sense. All right. So, in the House, 12 people are over 80 years old. 12. 12 people are over 80 years old. Hold your horses. 62 are over 70. Yeah. So 74 people in the House are over 70. They're in their 70s and 80s. And what I don't know, although I suspect, these people didn't just get into office. They've been in office for fucking ever. And we know that once you actually have a position, it's much easier to retain that position, right? So if you are the incumbent, it is easier to keep that position. So these people have been there forever. Let's talk about the Senate. Okay. The Senate has 5 people over 80 and 29 over 70. Y'all, that is 34%. 34% of the Senate is old as shit. Okay, that might have been inappropriate. Because like I said, I have 70 and 80-year-old people I love. I hope they live to 100. It doesn't mean they can't do amazing things. But should they be leading our country when they've been doing it forever and a day? I don't think so. I don't think so. That's a third. That's a third of the Senate. So I just want you to think about this for a minute. We talked about all the issues going on, right? We talked about the bowel movements. We talked about shit in your pants and your incontinence and depends and prostate issues. So in the Senate, that's a third, which means if you look to your left, this is my left, so we'll look to your left. If you're watching the video, if you look to your left and you look to your right, odds are someone just ruined their panties. That's right, someone just peed or pooped on themselves. And again, I'm not judging it, I'm not shaming it, but maybe if at any given moment, 1/3 of our Senate is pooping on themselves, we've got a problem. I mean, it makes me furious. Okay, now, y'all, the next thing I'm going to say is some of y'all aren't going to like this. And I know it. I don't even like saying it, but I'm going to say it. So, first, I need you to sit down. If you're driving, you should probably pull over. Um, and if you're sitting down, you should buckle up because you might fall out of your seat. Okay. Okay, here we go. Here we go. RBG. RBG. If she truly cared about women and reproductive rights, she would have retired. Yeah, I said it. I said it. She should have fucking retired in 2009 when Obama was the president and there was a democratically controlled Senate. When she knew that if she retired, that she would actually be replaced with someone else who shared her same values and could continue her legacy. If she would have retired in 2009, she would have been 76 years old. That would have been a long time on the Supreme Court. She could have left a lasting legacy. I get she's already left a lasting legacy, but, you know, she was sick. She knew she was aging. And she didn't retire. She didn't retire. So I think she was 87 when she died. 87. She was on the Supreme Court when she was 87. Now, I know you might be like, well, but fucking McConnell, yeah. I'm from Kentucky. I'm there with you. He single-handedly blocked Merrick Garland, right? He wouldn't even put someone up within a whole year because there was going to be a presidential election. And then right before another presidential election, he basically, when RBG died, he like rammed that one through in like, shit, I don't even know. It was like less than a month. So yeah, he's a fucker. I'm with you 100%. And so like, if he didn't do all of that, we wouldn't be in this situation. Roe wouldn't have been overturned. Yes, and. Yes, and. I think it is so easy for us to point the finger at who we say is to blame. But the truth is, if we really want to take responsibility, like we have to look at every single person that was involved. Think about it like football. If you watched the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce episode, you know that I love football. I love football. And so you can never blame any one person. So it might be like, oh, yeah, you missed that extra, point. But there were probably a lot of other things that had that changed as well, it would have changed the outcome of the game. You can't just point to one person. Well, actually, fans do it all the time. They love to point to one person. But really good coaches and really good quarterbacks and players will say, like we all have to take responsibility because there's never just one person, one play that would have changed everything. And so you have to look at it in totality. And RBG did women and reproductive rights no favors by staying in office until she was 87. She didn't. She should have retired. I said it. I said it. I love her. I love her. And she should have fucking retired. Let's talk about the Supreme Court. Justice Thomas, oh God, don't even. That is a whole debacle in and of itself. But he is 75 and he has been on that bench for 32 years. 32 years. I mean, I know we do lifetime appointments, and the reason is because, like, we don't want them to be political. We don't want them to be political. We don't want Thomas to be political with his lobbyist wife. Oh my God. Like, clearly, like, that didn't matter. Like, people are still being political. Far from neutral. So, 32 years. Do we still need him on the bench? I don't think so. Alito, 73. He's been on the bench 18 years. So Alito has a little bit more of an argument. But like, think about it. Like CEOs, they're not in position for that long unless like they own the company, they started the company. And the reason why is because one, you need fresh blood, you need fresh ideas. But like, you also need to retire. Biden, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What are we doing? And it's like no better. Like Trump is old as shit too. You're telling me that the two best people for the job in America are that old, we can do better. We can do better. We 100% can do better. I think about, like in law firms, because that's my background, there's all of this conversation, around succession planning. And most people don't want to do succession planning for a few reasons. One, they love the power. And let's be honest, that's part of what RBG was doing. That's why none of these people leave office. They love the fucking power. I love power. Who doesn't love power? We love power, which is why there needs to be limits. So you stay in these positions because you love the power. You don't want to become irrelevant. Oh my gosh, that is such a scary thought. When I talk to the people that I love who are older and like their body's starting to go out, but like their mind is still sharp, they share that like one of the worst things about the aging process is you feel irrelevant and you feel out of touch and you can't do what you used to do. I am not looking forward to that day. And so I have empathy. I have compassion for what people that age are going through, especially if they've been in these positions forever and a day. That doesn't make it okay. That doesn't make it okay. Like we have to help them through this, which is like go find other things to do. Like if you don't want to just go like play shuffleboard all day. I used to always say I was going to work until I was my 80s. I was like, I'm going to be Betty White. I'm going to work until, which I mean, Betty's not hurting anybody. She was a comedian and actress, okay? Running the country is like flying a fucking plane or doing surgery. It's a little more high stakes. You know what I mean? So here are the things that when you should no longer be doing things like the police force, firefighting, like surgery, flying a plane, running the government. As a community, as a society, as families, we need to be helping them transition into other things. They can, like, for the people who are in Congress, like, become a keynote speaker. You can make so much money. You can travel around. People are going to give you your flowers and love on you and say amazing things about you. Write a book. There are so many, like, go start a nonprofit, be a consultant. You can still work. You can still work. You can still feel relevant. You can still feel important. I'm not saying, like, go out to pasture and die. Not saying that. What I'm saying is you are basically running our government into the ground. And the fact that all of these people have been in office since like the 80s, why on earth would we want them to be solving today's problems when, in essence, they fucking created them? Right? If you weren't able to avoid us getting in the situation that we're in, you're not going to be able to get us out. America has ruined her panties. She has. She has. Ugh, that's what's happened. We have aged out. America has aged out. She has ruined her panties. We're like cleaning up our aging parents. We're cleaning their diapers. And like, I'm not even trying to be funny. That's not even a metaphor. Like, I'm being serious. Like, we too are part of the problem, right? Like, when I said we have to like look at everybody's responsibility, the fact that we continue to vote these people into office, the fact that we continue to say, yeah, the best we've got to choose between for the president of our country is Biden and Trump. Are you kidding me? This is where we are? This is where we are? Stop it. Stop it. This is also why we need term limits. For sure. For sure. And you know who's not going to institute term limits? The people who've been in office since the fucking 80s. I mean, honestly, that like they're going to die out before we vote them out, apparently. And we're responsible. Their shitty diapers are on our hands. I cannot believe it's 37 minutes. have so much to say about this. There's actually one more thing that I'm gonna say, and then I'll go. And I am gonna name names on this because I know he's not watching. So my grandfather okay, my grandmother who recently passed, um, she started having issues where when she would drink apple juice, it would give her diarrhea. And she couldn't clean it up, right? Like, so, it's not fun to have to clean up someone else's diarrhea. And she had some apple juice in a cup in front of her, to which everyone's like, "Who gave her the apple juice?" And my grandfather says, "Well, there was a little bit left and I didn't want it to go to waste." Because this is the thought process. I don't want the apple juice to go to waste. And maybe, just maybe, it won't hurt her stomach this time. Y'all, it's the same thing. Okay. Congress can't take the apple juice. And if we keep voting them back in thinking, oh, well, it'll be different next time. No, they're still going to have diarrhea. So stop it with the apple juice. Stop voting them in. And we need to be having this conversation. Seriously. This is not a partisan, like Democrats, Republicans, like we all are dealing with this problem. And it's part of why we're in the mess that we're in our country. So I'm just going to end. I'm going to end with a quote from our favorite dad. Hallelujah. Holy shit. Where's the fucking Tylenol? Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, give the episode a like and leave a comment below so we can keep the conversation going. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future episode or announcement. Listening on Apple, Spotify, or another podcast app, you can watch the video and join in the after show conversation by visiting hustleandflowpodcast.com.